So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Hugues Vinet. I'm in charge of research and innovation, yes, at IRCAM. I'm also in charge of the STARTS Residencies Program, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you today. I think it's an important moment for many of us, since it's the first time that such a community is gathered on this specific topic of art science residencies methodologies. I see that many of you are come at IRCAM for the first time, so I thought it might be of interest for you to have a short introduction of this institution, which is completely related to our topic actually, and also to the STARTS program, and then I will introduce the Symposium program. So these are the various spaces of IRCAM. IRCAM was founded by composer Pierre Boulez at the end of the 70s as part of the Pompidou project. And Boulez had a vision at this time that the renewal of music, contemporary music, would be through science and technology, and in particular digital technologies. And so this is really the spirit of this center, IRCAM, that is still the case today. That is to be a place that gathers in the same place scientists, engineers, and artists for their mutual benefit. And of course, in particular, for bringing new technologies to contemporary music production. So we have three main activities: research and development. We are about 150 persons here. We have a joint lab with CNRS and Sorbonne Université. And the main topic of our research is science and technology of music and sound. And it involves a wide multidisciplinary range from physics, acoustics. The core topic is engineering with signal processing, computer science, and then aspects related to human cognition and humanities and musicology. A specificity also, and this is important in this art-science relation, is that we have integrated software development in the research teams that develop software that is then used for artistic production. As for artistic production, so the main artistic field is music, but actually a number of pieces are produced in performing arts in more general way, including drama, including cinema, dance, etc. There are 30 new works produced every year, and IRCAM is also in charge of producing the shows, and also there are a number of collaborations, international performances, etc. Our main festival is in June, during 1 month, the Manifest Festival. And then another aspect related to education. So we are not a higher education institution, but we work in close collaboration with such institutions, and we manage a number of masters and PhD, both for engineers and artists, for composition and sound design. And we also propose professional training on our software. So now I would like just to say a word about our innovation process. Since really the core of our activity is to have research dedicated to art production and musical creation, but actually this research and the technology it produces spreads then on larger circles of activity. Performing arts more generally, then everything related to music technology, but also audio technology, and then sound design, that is how to design the sound of everyday life, in particular in cars, for instance, or in multimodal human-computer interaction, and then everything related to sound in virtual reality simulations, etc. And so for this, we have a number of tools. The IRCAM's forum is our user group of software. It gathers more than 17 users worldwide that exchange that have access to our software and exchange their activity related to it. And by the way, following this symposium, there will be 3 days of gathering of the IRCAM forum users here at IRCAM. So we have a number of, so recently a company was founded in order to commercialize our activity. We have a number of startups, and also we develop a number of products with a number of partners. So it's just to show that an institution as IRCAM dedicated to contemporary art production can define a workflow also towards innovation. So then a few words about STARTS. So STARTS is an initiative of the European Commission, as you probably know. And the goal here is not, I would say, research at the service of art, but the reverse. That is how we reflect on a new role of artists in society and how artists can be catalyzers of technological innovation in relation to advanced research. And the main idea is that in many cases, industrial innovations that we see actually are about the same schemes as works that were previously, maybe decades before, designed by artists. So why, in order to accelerate the innovation process, why not to include artists in the very early phases of research and give them quite freedom in order to exchange with researchers. So this is basically the process of STARTS. And STARTS Residencies is one specific project of STARTS. There are other ones. For instance, there is a STARTS Prize managed by Ars Electronica. There are also so-called STARTS Lighthouses, which are thematic projects, for instance, in fashion or in architecture. And so STARTS Residencies is more specifically dedicated to organize residencies between researchers and artists. But STARTS Residencies has also been in charge of developing the STARTS.eu platform, which is the main web hub of the STARTS community. So some brief elements about it. So we dedicated a 900k euro budget for artists, and it enables us to fund 45 residencies in 3 years. The residencies gather what we call tech project, which can be a collaborative R&D project or a research project internal to a company or to a research lab, and an artist or several artists. And we have also a third optional protagonist, which is a producer, which is an organization that brings additional means to the artistic production. So artists are paid directly by our project for designing an artwork based on the technology, so that uses the technology or that develops a critical viewpoint on the technology. We implemented 3 yearly calls, and now we are about to finish because the program is finishing end of May. So some of you may have the chance to attend maybe last weekend at 104 to see the last results. And an important aspect also is that we have been formalizing our methodology on calls and residencies management in various supports, in particular the brochure, the STARTS brochure that may be available already explains part of it, and there has been also a publication in last SIGGRAPH about it. So actually this leads us to our symposium, and the idea of the symposium actually the first person who had it, I think, is Greg Beller from IRCAM. He has been coordinating our residencies program at IRCAM, so I will not speak about it. And he's also in charge of the STARTS Residencies program. And our feeling is that there is a growing number of initiatives of art science collaborations, and now the situation was mature in order these persons to gather and share their experiences. And we have to address the diversity of goals, organization, methodologies, impacts in the various frameworks that exist. So this is what we propose to share together. This might be the emergence of the community, and so we'll have to discuss that because it could be a goal of this symposium. And another goal could be also to formalize common knowledge. As for organization, so the program committee, that is the persons who selected applications, actually was part of STARTS Residencies program. All the persons here are participating in STARTS Residencies, and the organization committee is at IRCAM. So now I would like to say that this is already successful in terms of registration and attendance. Registrations have been full for several weeks. We had to refuse people. So in a way it's good, in a way not, because not everybody can participate, but everything is streamed also live. We received many proposals, and so our approach was to refuse as few as possible proposals in order everybody to be here and have some moment to speak. of course, the implication is that speakers will have few time to speak. Another aspect was also that we don't want long presentations. The most important, actually, is to organize discussions between all of us. So, according to what we received in terms of applications, we clustered the roundtables in 5 themes. I will give a very short introduction on it. So empowering social changes is so basically we start from the very general. Then we focus on residencies, and then again we extend to possible applications. So organic residencies is really the main bottleneck, I would say, the main core. Then we start with empowering social changes, which is, generally speaking, how art can contribute to social changes, both in organizations and in the society. Then bridging art and science concerns the general relations between artists and researchers, not only in residencies. What are the conditions? What does it bring? Then organizing residencies is really the frameworks for such residencies. And then we want also to discuss specific applications for innovation, industrial innovation, and also for, in particular, how do we support next generation, and this includes, of course, how is this science-art relation managed in higher education. So we also found a way to organize keynotes for each session. So for each session, we selected one speaker who will have a little more time than the others to develop the subject. And we will start the symposium also with one keynote for the whole symposium. Then an important aspect is networking moments. So you will be invited to have lunch downstairs today and tomorrow, even after the sessions. And also, by the way, the whole afternoon of tomorrow is free for you downstairs to have also informal exchanges. For the speakers, so those of you who will speak, you are invited to a private visit of the exhibitions on neurons and artificial intelligence in Centre Pompidou this evening. And then an aspect also that I wanted to submit to you is that we have also to decide what we want to do together after this symposium. So there is a very short session of 15 minutes at the end that I will. So I will summarize some main conclusions. And so if you have proposals, of course, I will welcome them, and we can speak informally or even publicly during the sessions about what is the interest for next steps. So just to maybe launch the reflection, I just want to propose a very schematic taxonomy of arts research relations. Actually, it's what I use in analyzing what we do, but of course this can be adapted to a broader context. First, research for art, and research for art is precisely what we do at IRCAM, that is mainly technological research, development of technological tools for artists. Then research on art, so this relates mainly to humanities, how researchers look at art, and with applications in the documentation of art, but also in curation of art. Then research in art, actually, at least in French, this notion exists. I don't know if it exists elsewhere, but it's the notion of artist as a researcher, and in particular, the integration of art schools as part of the higher education system. Then art on research. This concerns artists who have specific projects related to science, science as a direct object of the artwork or as a metaphorical object for the artist. And then art for research, and this is precisely what we try to do in STARTS, and more generally not only for research but for industrial innovation. So that's just a first taxonomy that we can later discuss. And now I will let the floor to the main keynote of this symposium of Professor Ariane Berthoin-Antal.